just realized this a few days ago, but we are stuck in comfort. We have created an illusion to think that we are safe and we are comfortable. Now, what do I mean by this? What I mean is that I'm constantly convinced right now that I'm safe in my own home. I feel safe, because that, I don't know why I feel that, I just do. But if you think about it, you're technically not safe because you're trusting other people that live in your house, assuming other people live in your house with your life, whether it's your parent, your sibling, your partner, whatever it is. At that very moment, that person could grab a knife and kill you pretty easily, right? And at the same time, I've seen this effect where when you're walking down the street and there's lights and you stop because those lights turn red, you stop, but another person keeps going. And you decide, well, if they're keeping going, they must think they're safe, so you keep going. That's you trusting another person. That is a perfect example of you just blindly trusting another human being because they value their own life, which makes you think that because they value their own life, you can keep going and that's going to keep you safe, which that is a very good form of logic. But if you think about it, none of us in this world are 100% in control of ourselves. We are, from the moment we're born, we are like in this kind of shell where we think we're in control of ourselves, but are we really? Because there's social media affecting you, there's people in your work and your school affecting you, the government's affecting you, people in power are affecting you, they're affecting your standards, the way you think. Yet we don't think like that. We're in our own little shell and we're like, yeah, I'm totally safe, I'm okay. But at the end of the day, if a war broke out right now, in like a whole world war, and people started dropping nukes on the countries, we would all die. So we're kind of stuck in this like comfort shell, That's what I always found interesting, that we are convinced that we are safe. And I always ask myself, why? Why do I think I'm safe? So at the end of the day, I started realizing that I'm not safe. So what I can't do much about that, because obviously I can't control if countries start dropping nukes on each other. But I'm starting to think more of like what I can control. For example, if you are dependent on another person, whether that is a parent or a partner, a guardian, someone from your school, someone from your work, your boss, your teacher, whoever that person is. If you're dependent on that person, whenever they decide, I don't want you to be dependent on me anymore, and I don't want to talk to you anymore, and I just want to leave you, they can leave you and you're left with nothing. This took me a really long time to realize I need to start focusing on how I can hold myself by like, how can I survive on my own? I have to ask myself questions like, if my parents abandoned me right now, would I be able to survive? Would I be okay? For right now, for me, the answer is yes, I would be okay. But for some people, if like their friend abandoned them, or if they live in their roommate, they live in the same apartment, and I don't know, half of them pays the bills and the other person pays the other half of the bills, you're like, yeah, but I need that other person to pay the other half because I can't afford the whole bill. So then you're like, you're dependent on that person. That is the worst thing in the world. It's literally the worst thing in the world, to be dependent on another person or another human being, to be dependent on something other than yourself. I find that to be the most terrifying thing. Because the only person I trust and the only person I know I can be dependent on is myself. So being dependent on another human being scares me so much because I'm dependent by that own person's thoughts and that own person's opinions. So we created this comfortability for ourselves that isn't technically true. And now if you think about it, that is crazy that humans were just able to make up being safe. Okay, I don't want people to get paranoid by this. Obviously, you don't like go scaling like, oh yeah, nukes, blah, blah, blah. You're going to start talking about World War II or something, World War III or something. And then you're going to go crazy and you're going to be paranoid. That is not what I'm saying we should be like, but start thinking on your own like scale who are you dependent on that you can like, or thing, what are you, of someone or something, what are you dependent on that you could be not dependent on? Because the less thing you're dependent on, the more powerful you actually are. So now you have to ask yourself, are you dependent right now at this very moment? Are you dependent by anyone or anything in your life? See, I think for nearly everybody except God, the answer is yes. We are all dependent on someone or something. I have just realized, whoa, I'm dependent on someone I can't trust. The thing is, that happens way more often than you think. I used to live in this shell of comfortability until something that happened in my life changed that, and then I realized I made this whole world I made this whole world for myself where I thought I'm 100% safe, I'm 100% comfortable, and I stayed in that comfort. The thing is, you have to expand and potentially leave that shell of comfort for it to get better and for you to be less dependent on other people, so less bad things can happen. The more dependent you are, the more controllable you are. The less dependent you are, the less controllable you are. We are dependent on so many things. We're dependent on the bank for giving us a loan for buying a house. We're dependent on a pilot getting an airplane to safety. We're dependent on someone not poisoning our drink. We're dependent on someone in a restaurant making good food. We are dependent on so many things. And we have to understand that every single day that we survive is technically a chance. We should be so happy that we survived. But still, the less dependent you are, the more powerful you are, and the more dangerous you become to others. So whatever it is, whether it's paying off a bill to the bank, whether it's leaving a toxic partner, whatever it is, start thinking in a way, am I dependent on this? Am I dependent on that? Start thinking in a way that's going to make you less dependent on things. Because once you start thinking like that, that is going to give you more of a creator's mindset. You're going to start thinking more like, in a way, what can I do to provide for myself and provide for others, instead of going like, oh yeah, but this person has to provide for me. The thing is, they don't. They really don't. We are literally convincing ourselves that this person has to provide for us, whoever that is, whether that's a parent, a sibling, a teacher, your boss, I don't know, the bank, whoever. We've convinced ourselves that we can rely on them all the time, but the truth is we can't. Because most of the time, the thing you're relying on is another human being, and that human being has their own thoughts, feelings, worries, whatever it is. So at any moment, they can stop feeling certain feelings towards you, and that's going to push them away. And then you're stuck, because you don't know what to do, because you were dependent on that person. First thing I do when I turn 18, I'm going to be the most independent person ever, because I know the less people I'm dependent on, the safer and better I actually am. So really start asking yourself questions like, am I dependable on these people? Why am I with this person if I don't like them? Really start questioning everything and start there. And once you're like, oh yes, I am dependable on this, I'm dependable on that, start making yourself undependable by it. See, no matter how much you trust someone, you could trust someone with your life, that is okay. You can trust your parents with your life, that's okay, that's 100% normal because they're your parents. But if you think about it, you still should have a backup plan that will make you not dependable on them. Does that make sense? For example, a bad situation you could be in, and probably a lot of people maybe watching this video are in, is you're stuck at your parents' house and your parents are paying you, giving you food, maybe even as an adult. That's the situation you could be in. And you're fully dependent on your parents. But, I mean, if you're a child, that's okay, because you're a child, so technically you're under the protection of the law. But once you become an adult, your parents are not forced to take care of you, so they don't have to. So the second you turn 18, you have to have a system set up, even as a child, to make you the most independent person possible. because you never know when people are going to change their mind. So start being independent. Start saying, I will be able to do this. Even learning basic things. So you might be dependent on, I don't know, your mom for cooking food for you every single day. Start being not dependent on that person. Start cooking food for yourself. You might be dependable on someone cleaning your house. That's okay. Maybe you hired someone to clean your house. It doesn't matter. But be sure you are able to do it yourself as well, because you never know in what situation you might end up in. Start having different assets, like economically and money-wise. Start investing in a way that's going to keep you safe for the future. Start thinking in a way that's going to keep you independent from other people. And whatever you do, never become dependable on other people willingly. Please just remember, the less people you depend on, the more powerful you are. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!